Just you're off the middle of nowhere. A lot of nice lakes and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know how I could live there.
There's a new show called, it's called Widow's Bay. It's on Apple TV. It's so good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's the guy who played Perry Mason. But yeah, it's kind of like set in this like,
Okay.
kind of like, I don't know, it's like a.
Hey, did Will get this one? Did you get this one?
Is it Dallas Ghost?
Yeah, yeah.
Whaling.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of
Reminds me of Cabin Cove from Murder, She Wrote.
What's that?
Cabin Cove
Yeah,
from Murder,
that's
She
right.
Wrote.
Oh, right.
It has
Yeah.
those vibes.
Yeah.
Over here.
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
Oh, Widow's, yeah,
Yeah,
Widow's.
it's like
So
Javier.
good.
another one.
Javier sounds more
It's not
efficient.
network TV, Fast Times.
I'll get you.
Josh Charles plays a doctor.
And yesterday, I just saw an email.
What's just like movies.
You were for Neil.
It's got the bar, it's got the one doctor, one gas station.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you come talk to us.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. How did it go?
Good. Yeah, it's all right. I think, yeah, excitement.
Yeah.
Really good points as well, so it's just also.
What's up? What's shaking? Oh. Pool opens in like a week and a half, right?
I would imagine.
We'll be right in the universe.
Hello. Yeah. But yeah, if you have thoughts, feel free to shoot over. Will do, yeah. Cool. Appreciate it.
I feel like I forgot a wave.
What's going on?
How are you?
All right.
Ooh, it's almost 7:30. I'll apologize, my allergies are a little bad, so if I sound like Kermit halfway through the meeting, that's what it is.
What I do.
All right.
You just
We
hit
can
up.
actually come back here.
Go back here.
Yeah.
All right.
So, are we all set?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. You just slam it on the wood.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So I call the May 12th, 2026 Pleasant Ridge City Commission meeting to order. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We have the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have roll call, please?
Mayor Scott,
Here?
Commissioner Budnick,
Here.
Commissioner Lenko,
Here.
Commissioner Perry,
Here.
Commissioner Schmier.
Here.
All right. Public discussions, item not on the agenda. Hi.
Hi, I'll kick us off, I guess. I'm just here to take up a few minutes of your time. My name is Alyssa Tawby. I have met a few of you a couple of times. I'm here as the community engagement representative assigned to your community from the Oakland County Water Resources Commissioner's Office, Jim Nash. You are one of our customer communities, but also I'm fortunate to live just a few streets over on West Drayton. So it's my honor to be your engagement representative. I just wanted to reach out. I did bring some folders. Would it be okay if I asked you to hand them down?
Sure.
Inside that folder, there's a QR code. If you were to scan it, it would take you to our public education and outreach page. You can find all kinds of materials on there, water resources, education. You're also going to find a business card with my contact information. On the back of that, I've written my personal cell phone number. If you ever need anything or you have questions, I've been with Commissioner Nash for about 13 years now. So if I don't know the answer to your question, I know who does. I will find it. I'd be very happy to. I'd love to be invited to any kind of community resource fair or an event where I could connect with the residents and help them better understand the infrastructure that we all rely on. And the last thing I'll point out is we have something right now called an emergency relief fund, which is different than the water residential assistance program that people are familiar with or more familiar with. It's not as income restricted, it's more for emergencies. So if anybody were to ever have a hard time paying their water bill because they lost their job or had a fire or a car accident, we would love to use some of that money, their ARPA funds, to help keep them current and keep the system running smoothly. So I did see the utility rates discussion on the agenda tonight, so I'm going to hang out and see if I can learn anything or be helpful at all. And otherwise, I thank you for your time.
Oh, thank
Thanks
you
for
very
coming.
much.
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, regarding that emergency service, so would a hypothetical example be if somebody's like, I don't know, pipe went out and they had like a $2,000 water bill that they weren't expecting or something like that?
Both the RAP program, the one I mentioned, and this one will provide funding for plumbing services. So if you have a leak or anything like that, they do both. One is like 200% above the poverty level, which is kind of an antiquated poverty level in my opinion. And this emergency relief fund is less restricted by that. So if you perhaps could afford to repair the pipe or the plumbing, it might not apply to you. But if you had some reason that you couldn't that year, even if your income showed that you were above, but you had some kind of life event, then yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
And this income, is that accurate, like the income numbers on here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But we do have the ability and the authority to work with United Way, the service provider for this program, to adjust that. So if your income is above that, but like I mentioned, maybe you've had a fire or a job loss, and you let us know that, then we're going to work with you.
Okay, awesome. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
definitely
you.
pass this around.
Thank you.
And enjoy the budget discussion.
Thank you.
Were there any other items for? Yes, thank you.
Hi. Liz and Jim Flager, in regards to the email that we sent out the other day.
Could you give your address, please?
32 Woodside, sorry.
No worries.
Just wanted to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you wanted to ask. We can also stay until afterwards if you'd rather ask questions afterwards. And just, reiterate kind of what we're looking for.
So Kirsten, I don't know if you've seen it, but I think everybody else has. We are looking for a change in the ordinances that the city has. Pleasant Ridge has, lots of other communities around us don't have that same ordinance. And it's basically the way it's written now. Jim has told us that for us as being certified by the DNR to do wildlife rehabilitation, specifically for us, we do small mammals, squirrels, possums, chipmunks, rabbits, raccoons, and mostly what we do are orphaned animals. Their mom has been killed or been chased away because people are opening their garages and saying, oh, I don't want that raccoon in my attic or in my house, and then they find out there's babies that are there also, and then they go, what do we do? We frequently get called. We are volunteers through Motor City Possum, which is based out of Ferndale. We're right now at the max for baby raccoons, which is 70. So this is kind of one of those crunches for
Not us personally.
Not us personally. Not us.
Just want you to know.
The group.
So I think what we want to emphasize is we are not an intake. We are not looking to bring animals into our city and have 19 cages or anything like that. We are a very, very small portion of Motor City Possum. All intakes go through Cindy. She works for a vet. If there's any question about their health, it goes to the vet to be okayed. Once they are triaged, we are temporary housing foster care. And we are trying to get certified for literally 5 animals. That's the max we can have. We mostly do, it's through April to July. Once in a while we might have something in August for a week or two. We have an indoor cage. We have an outdoor cage that's 4 feet by 8 feet by 8 feet. I think the important thing, there's a couple things I'd like you to understand. One is the DNR, something from you is the only thing that's holding up our permit.
The
And they-
DNR has been out and inspected everything, said you're
Said
good to
everything
go,
looks great.
except for this ordinance.
And they said that they would give it to us if we even just got a letter from someone in the city saying it was okay. And if you could do that, it would be amazing, because we have 4 orphan raccoons right now that we have had since they were a week and a half, 2 weeks old in an incubator. If we don't get something for the city, even for just this summer, they will fail our inspection and we lose our animals.
Okay.
So everything is health checked before we get it. It's a very small amount of animals. We have signatures from all our neighbors around us. If you could give us something for this year so I could continue with the 4 babies we've had for 6 weeks, I would appreciate it. If not, we're gonna have to give them up. And that would be heartbreaking to me. And we would be more than happy to work with the city in whatever needs to be done to move forward to get something permanently on the records. So, do you have any questions for me? Us?
Does
Sorry,
anyone
you're here.
have questions for them?
I do actually have one question. It sounds like you've been doing this for a
Yeah.
while. I'm curious, what changed? Did DNR change its rules?
No, we were certified for bottle babies. We had no idea that it was a problem here. And Motor City Possum has grown, and so we needed more volunteers. So one of the volunteers got licensed, and Cindy wanted to move me from her to the other licensed woman that works with Motor City Possum. She's right over on Oak Park Boulevard. In order to do that, they had to put in a new thing for me, and since they put a new permit in, what's the word I'm looking for?
A new
They-
certification was needed.
And they wanted to certify me
Yeah.
for the outside cage. To get the certification, small mammals instead of bottle fed, they have to come out and inspect. And they have to look at the city ordinances.
Okay, so it was the change from bottle to, okay,
Right.
thank you.
And it sounds as though, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds as though the service has become more in demand as well. So
Yeah.
you've hit a capacity limit
It's-
in other places.
Right.
Yeah, there's just unfortunately way too many cars for the wildlife around here.
And too many dumb people that don't know how to humanely evict. The 4 that we have right now are 4 females. Like I say, we've had them since they're 2 weeks old, eyes closed, ears shut, hardly furred. And they were in a garage. The gentleman didn't want them in his garage, so he chased the mom out. He then went out and bought a live trap, put the 4 babies in the live trap without a blanket, without heat, without anything, trying to get the mom to go in and get them, and put them out in 30-degree weather. So when Cindy got them, they were half frozen. She didn't think they'd live. They were in an incubator for about 3 hours before they showed any sign of life. And we've been nursing them ever since. So, as I say, it would be really tough if we don't get something, because they will have to find another home for them.
Somewhere.
So, thank you for your time. Do you have any other questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mayor. How long do you keep these animals?
So
Can I do this?
Yeah.
So this is a DNR requirement that they can only be kept as long as it takes to get them to a releasable condition. So that might be, hey, they got hit by a car or something, it's skin heals, and in 2 days you can say they're good to go, they can go. The babies typically, the bigger babies, so raccoons are probably the biggest ones, they usually take about 3 months to go from the way we got these, which was feeding them with a syringe this big, to where they're eating regular food and they're big enough and exposed enough to the weather and lighting and outdoor noises so that we can then let them go. They don't get released here.
Nothing's released
In the
Pleasant
city, everything goes up toward northern Oakland County because there's a lot less traffic and a lot bigger plots of land that are available. People who support Motor City Possum let us do that. And they also fortunately frequently feed during that first winter, so that,
Help them kind of get by.
yeah.
They, right now the babies are inside. We're doing the weaning process, which is very much like people weaning. It's rice cereal, formula, banana. It's a mess. And once they get on, so they're eating mostly solid food, they'll go out to the outdoor cage. And the purpose of the outdoor cage is so that they can get used to night and day, used to the weather changes. They have to hear rain. You know, they have to, in the backyard, they'll have exposure to other animals in this cage. The cage is elevated, food does not get out. There's secure doors, 3 secure doors. There are litter trains, so we clean out the potty box every day and it goes into a garbage can that can't get into by other animals. You know, so it's not a threat for rats, it's not like chickens, you know. It's an elevated cage with a ceramic floor, so food's not falling through. That's it. Anything else?
And if anybody would like to come and take a look, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. Would anybody like to ask for Jim to do further work, or how would you like to proceed on this? So for everyone's benefit, we wrote back to them in email form that there's a process to changing an ordinance. It's usually not fast. It could be 2, 3, 4 months because first we have to direct our city manager to do some homework with our city attorney, and then we may or may not draft an ordinance revision based on the findings that we have. The findings may actually tell us not to do anything, we don't know. And then we'd, usually, in fact, almost always have a public hearing so that everyone would have an opportunity to speak on the topic and then make a decision. But that process for ordinance changes is typically, it's usually 3 months or more. So, so that's about the amount of time it would take to do this, even if everyone raised their hand and said we were in support. But the first step is agreeing that we wanted. Would you like to direct anybody?
Sure. I can take. And I guess, like, before I make a recommendation, I wanted to verify, like, is changing it the correct course of action, like getting an opinion from the attorney, like that might be a faster approach, like if instead of creating an amendment to the ordinance or like revamping the ordinance, categorizing what they're doing as, I don't know, like temporary or like it's like a 3-month, it's like the thing says you can't own, harbor, keep, maintain, sell, or transfer. I could see this kind of fitting into some of those categories, but
it's the wild animal part that is the problem. So, yes, we could give it to our attorney, but I think based on the other pieces of our ordinances and the way wild animals are defined, it is most of what they would bring in are wild animals. I suppose some could be not wild, but
that have been health checked, so we're not
Yeah.
bringing in
Right.
something
Totally
that we know
understand.
have
Totally
diseases.
understand.
they're the types
that-
of animals we have in our backyards anyways.
but that's a part of what we
Right.
would have to
No, I
figure out in
understand.
the ordinance is how to describe a wild animal that's been health checked or
Right.
meets DNR
Right.
standards
Right.
or what
Right.
have you. Yeah. So, how are other people feeling?
Seems there's no other option other than amending the ordinance. There's no,
If we wanted to go that way. I mean, I know, so in our history, I think the last time this section was updated was in 2017. I remember someone coming, I'm remembering.
Potbelly pigs?
No, I think it was ducks, or maybe that was an outcome of the
No.
ordinance.
Ducks were private, but there was another issue.
There was
with
another
it.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our police had no enforcement tools because there were no specific language around it. And Jim
Right.
worked hard with a couple
Yeah, we had an exotic pet.
expert.
Yeah,
Oh, I remember that now, yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, we worked with him quite a bit to make sure that this worked well the way we wanted it to.
And I guess, splitting hairs, it does say pets.
One
These
of
are
them
not-
does.
like,
10.2
this isn't a
says
pet.
pets.
We're literally,
I understand.
Yeah.
Where I'm torn is, number one, what I think you're doing is amazing, and there is certainly a need. And so, and, you know, any rescue, but certainly what you're doing is amazing. So I don't want to take, you know, that is important. But my concern in all of this is, how are we able to amend the ordinance without kind of opening up the bigger issue of other people for other reasons
Right.
bringing in
Exactly.
wild animals? So
Well, and
is there a way to do this that
Again,
allows?
That's one of the things that we're saying, you know, for certified rehabbers, or in
Yeah.
order for rehabbers to get,
Yeah.
we would be state certified.
Yeah, so the DNR does not allow for most exotic pets, wild animals.
It's
to be
illegal.
To be kept already. It's against the law. So, from a state perspective. So what we're looking at is specifically for Pleasant Ridge to say, the ordinance that says you can't keep wild animals does not apply to DNR certified people doing
Rehabbers.
rehabilitation. So it's not like I could just go out and say, hey, I'd like to own a possum. And we get that. People say, hey, make a great pet. No, they make a terrible pet. But that's what we're looking for, is say, hey, if you are DNR certified, which means you've done the inspection, you've done the training, and they've signed off on you to be able to do this kind of thing, then you could do it here in Pleasant Ridge, assuming you lived in Pleasant Ridge. I'm not sure how many other people are doing this in Pleasant Ridge, but there might be one or two.
We have no interest in getting any bigger. We do
Yeah.
this pretty much April through.
Yeah. And the
July.
concern, I think, is, for me personally at this moment, is less about what you're doing, but more, again, about
How to
what it,
protect everything.
and what it opens up.
And
Yeah.
just so you know, I was born and raised here.
Mm-hmm.
When I grew up, there was a woman on Elm Park named, I believe, Mrs. Babcock. I could ask my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But she did rescue. That's probably what got me turned on to it 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, whenever, you heard of her?
I have. I don't know why,
Every
where I've heard the
time-
name, but the
yeah,
Babcock
so every time
family has
we
been.
would find something as little kids, and we would take it there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I moved back to Pleasant Ridge because I love Pleasant Ridge. I understand the reason for ordinances and that type of thing. So I have no problem working with you to get something in place if you need somebody to work with. Like I say, my concern, I would like to get that in place if possible. My concern is also for the 4 babies I have right now, so.
I understand.
Would anyone like to move forward with just doing some more homework on this? We're not ready for an ordinance or anything, but.
I support for the research.
Yeah, I mean, I think on my side, I would like to learn more personally too. I don't know if I have specific direction at this moment, if someone else does, but, you know, I'm certainly interested in learning more.
Maybe to answer the question, to do the research on understanding what other communities are doing, and if it's possible to carve out this DNR piece from everything else to answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can bring that back and see if it makes sense or not. Is that a reasonable course of action, Jim, do you think?
Yeah, I've got some notes and some questions I want to answer.
Okay. Do you need us to vote on that, or is that enough?
That's enough.
Okay.
That's
Thank
great.
you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Again, I just want to give a realistic expectation
Absolutely.
that unfortunately this season, I don't know that we'll be done by July, because we're already in May, so there's only 2 more. Just so that you know, I want to
Yeah.
give you that.
we
You know,
just-
what latitude do you have with the DNR to say you've come to us and we're entertaining?
I mean, basically, the DNR's position is, we're fine doing what we're doing as long as the city doesn't have a problem with it. I mean, they said it's a city ordinance, you go next door to Ferndale, they don't have this ordinance, so there's no problem doing it, you know, a mile down the road. So it's just they're doing their due diligence to say, hey, you're a subdivision of the state, and they're not in a position of violating your ordinances for their purposes. So they're really just saying, hey, if you say it's okay, they're good with what we're doing already. So the issue, I guess, maybe would be is if you said, hey, Liz and Jim, you know, you've got 90 days to take care of this issue.
Yeah, even if we had
Yeah.
a letter that said that, that would allow us to finish out these babies, and then we would guarantee you we wouldn't take anybody else until we get this
we do this.
set.
Got it.
But they just need a letter from you saying that we can continue with these babies till the release. We go away in July, and we always have them gone and released before then. So.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Likewise, I
And
appreciate what you're
And in
doing. I think it's a
answer to that,
really,
the DNR will not hold our permit until then.
right.
Um,
Thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah,
Thank you.
would you like us to hang out longer?
Do any
For-
want to just get back later or tonight or?
I don't think I'll have any personally more questions at this
Yeah, I
point
think-
for you,
I think we're
so
okay.
whatever, yeah, I think I'm okay.
All right.
Thank
We
you.
don't have any sub-properties to be dealing with, so.
We're not building an accessory dwelling.
I'll follow up
for-
with email.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much
No,
for your
thank you
time
for
and your
coming.
consideration. And again, if you, the phone number's on our thing. You're more than welcome to come meet the babies, to come take a look at the cages. Just shoot us a call or phone call, or text ahead of time.
If they're in the middle of the mush eating, you're not gonna wanna hold them,
Yeah.
but.
You may have to bathe them, and then it's on you.
We can dunk them and clean them up for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's very clean.
All right. Are there any other, please?
I'll be quick.
Okay, no worries.
Good evening. My name is Chris Gilmer Hill. I'm a candidate for our state house seat. If you live in Pleasant Ridge and if you vote in Democratic primaries, you've probably gotten a flyer on your door from me already. So I'm here to let folks know two things. So number one, today is almost the last day to sign the Michigan Money Out of Politics petition. They're hoping to wrap up volunteer signature collection by tomorrow. So I know a lot of folks here have already heard about it and have signed. For anyone who hasn't, this is a citizen-initiated petition that's hoping to prohibit certain companies, so specifically the electric and gas utilities, so DTE and consumers, or any company with more than $250,000 state contract, which would include Blue Cross Blue Shield, Comcast, et cetera. They would be prohibited from spending in our state elections in a variety of ways, including contributions to candidates. Right now, the overwhelming majority of state legislators take money from DTE and from these other corporations, and it's really one of the biggest obstacles to passing legislation that would really help folks. I work full-time in environmental policy, and when we look at, why don't we have more restrictions on the rate hikes? Why don't we have community solar in Michigan? All these good things. The answer is just because DTE money has so much influence, and this would really give us a tool to, say we don't want that in our state. So if you're at all interested in that, I'll be hanging out in the back until about 8:30. For anyone who hasn't been able to sign yet, I have it here. I'd be more than happy to talk through it, answer any questions. The second thing, former Commissioner Jason Krzyzak and I will be having a meet and greet. It'll be May 23rd at 4:30, so it'll be that Saturday, just down at Gainsborough Park by the railroad. It won't be as specifically focused as the last one. It's not going to be just a DTE town hall. We will want to make sure to talk about some transit issues and some state level issues affecting the train crossing. So in particular, there's a state law on the books that caps how much municipalities are allowed to fine railroads for obstructing streets. It's not the only barrier to fixing the issue with companies just sort of using Ferndale and Pleasant Ridge as a rail yard, but it is one of the barriers. And if we can fix that, along with some federal level tweaks, we could really hold some of these companies accountable, prevent them from just blocking Hilton ad infinitum. But there's a lot more to talk about there. And then any other policies that folks want to talk about. Really it's a meet and greet to hear what folks want to talk about, to hear folks' issues, and to talk about policy. So I hope to see folks there, and we'll be making sure to get that info out.
Thank you.
Remind me the time?
It's 4:30 on May 23rd at Gainsborough Park.
Excellent.
All right, but thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Wow.
Yeah, I know. Jake Covert, 18 Fairwood. Speaking of commercial districts and residential districts, I've had a few Amazon drones conducting business transactions over my house and my property. They're actually literally conducting their transactions in my backyard. Do we allow that? Do we regulate it? What's our rules on this? And I don't like it.
So
we allow their trucks on our business roads. can we keep them over the roads so they're not over the backyards? So,
So the way drones work as a general rule is that because they're not landing in Pleasant Ridge, it is an FAA regulatory situation rather than a local regulatory. And
we
only
have the ability to
exception-
restrict them though. As a city, we do.
The exception is Hazel Park, where they land.
Okay.
So I've been speaking with them about this topic.
Okay.
First, to understand which homes are actually eligible to receive packages in Pleasant Ridge. I don't actually need to know the addresses, but I'm curious on the
Okay.
quantity. And because they do an aerial view shot of the entire city, summer, winter, fall, spring, to see foliage and determine which homes they can reliably drop a package to.
You mean they're able to, not that we're allowing them to? I mean,
Any aerial shot is possible,
so wherever they can land, they're allowed to. We don't have the ability to restrict them in any way?
because they're not landing. So
That's not really, that means we need to put laws in that do that. That just
So-
means that we don't have the tools at hand, right?
So all that I'm suggesting to you tonight is
Yeah.
that the local authorities cannot restrict airspace. So a drone is flying in airspace, and Amazon uses that to their advantage to make the service available. So on the other hand, if a drone happened to land here, I think I told Commissioner Schmier, I'm putting it on eBay. I'm not giving it back. I'm going to
I mean,
set
how
up
much of the
my-
space above my backyard do I own?
I think 12 feet and higher, I think, is the
That's
rule.
it?
But I could be wrong. I'll verify that. Just, I don't want to give the wrong number. But I'm in conversation with them because I want to understand this better.
It's a
I will
quality
say
of
that-
life issue, really is.
if I may, I think they want to be a good community partner, but they also want $9.99 for 1 hour shipping. So part of it is that there is a demand for the service. I did not think people would actually pay $9.99 to get something in an hour, but
Yeah.
they seem to. And there are certain types of products where it actually does make sense. Let's say you're sick and you want to receive NyQuil. It's better for that to arrive at your house from the air than for you to go to CVS or
We
to have
designate
someone.
certain neighborhoods as residential for a reason. Like, I'd like to keep the commerce in the commercial section. That's all.
Totally understand. So I'm following up on it, and I'll report back on it as we go further. Thank you, though.
Thank you.
And may I just add one thing? I've obviously, as people are outside more, I'm hearing this from other people because we're now seeing the drones. And there is an email address that we had when they were doing their initial presentations. There were 2 email addresses, one for the FAA and another one that I've actually been passing out to people, and I can share that. Because I think having people write the emails to Amazon specifically, whatever your concerns are, whether it be noise or whatever it is.
I didn't realize we don't have the ability to regulate certain things. So I
They are
appreciate
they are dropping them from the air, so they are not landing. But I think,
that. Which
yes.
is a hazard unto itself, but yeah.
But yeah, so I can pass that information along because I do think for anyone listening too that has concerns, has questions, to reach out directly to them.
And I will say, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah.
They want this feedback because while this service is available, it is a brand new service for them. They're really in a sort of a pilot mode, no pun intended, pilotless pilot mode. But they want that feedback because they want to tune in their service. Maybe they're doing something weird. They adjust their service because of weather and other issues. So this could be something that they have to consider. Like they don't always want the drone to fly down the center of a road because it becomes more obvious. I don't know. Give them that feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any others? Wow. Lots of items that were not on the agenda. I have to remember where we are. Liaison reports. Commissioner Budnick. I had drones on my mind, so it became Budnick.
That was a reference to something else.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Mayor. Let's get into our May and June rec happenings. And for all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day.
Right.
In the absence of Mr. Zachary, we'll start off with Learning American Sign Language. The ASL meets every Wednesday, and this is still going strong. So that's 9 to 10 a.m. at the PR Community Center. So go ahead and practice and learn.
some American Sign Language, and it's for really anybody, so children, adults, whoever is interested. It's a free event, and there's no formal instructor. I think we've all heard Ted talk about the experience, so come and have some fun. Pool tag renewal is this week, and I know it doesn't feel that way walking in, that it
It'll be
should be.
78 this Saturday. It'll feel better.
There we go.
Hopefully.
So bring your old tags and picture ID, and they'll get you renewed. And they're preferring to do this all now, so it's all out of the way. And of course, Shawnee, Kaya, and the team will get you going. During the season, it's just a little easier now to get some of it out of the way. So if you're going to the rec center, work out, or what have you, go ahead and get those renewed. And the pool actually opens a week from this Friday.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's really early this year, May the 22nd. And as a reminder,
Wow.
no guests are allowed on the first weekend, our opening weekend. And then Memorial Day ceremony is Monday the 25th at 9 a.m., and that is at Memorial Park. A couple more events here. We have a 50 and up club day trip to the DAC. So a phenomenal place to tour. That's tour and lunch, and that's on Thursday, May the 28th from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then the Pride Swim is Wednesday, June the 10th, and that's from 8 to 10 p.m. at night. Always a popular event. And last but not least, the Sakura Paper Truck will be coming. That's on the 21st of June, and that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that's, of course, at the community center. And this is for PR residents only.
That's the shredder truck?
Yeah.
And that's a Sunday, did you say, or Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay, great.
Saturday, the 21st from 10 to 2. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Any
You're welcome.
questions for Commissioner Busnett?
That might stick.
It might
Many.
stick.
Yeah.
All right. Commissioner Perry for the Arts Council.
Thank you. The Arts Council didn't meet last month, but this month they will meet on Wednesday. Oops, shoot! I just wrote the date down and lost it. Hold on. It'll be Wednesday, May 20th, 4:30 p.m. right here. Also, at some point soon, the mural will be starting down in Gainsborough Park. You know, don't feed the muralist. Like, leave the. They'll be focusing and working on the mural, and they're very shy. So we'll see. Yeah. So, but they'll be there in full display. So it'll be good.
Cool.
But the Arts Council will be meeting on Wednesday, the 20th of May.
Thank you.
4:30. Thank you.
Any questions? All right. Ferndale Public Schools. Mr. De La Verne.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Mark De La Verne, President, Ferndale School Board of Trustees. A few things to note. May 29th is the June Fair. Reminder to everybody, it is being held at Ferndale Administrative Building, formerly Roosevelt, formerly Lower. Again, we don't usually have activity there, but we will have a lot of activity that day. So just a reminder that it's a great day. Would expect a little more
So
traffic,
much fun.
a little bit noise, a lot of little kids running around and getting lost from their parents and screaming a little bit. So all of that in just an amazing day. So looking forward to that. May 31st is graduation. This year we're doing something different. We're hosting all 3 graduations at Wayne State University. So it will be a long day for myself and the other board members, but it'll be fantastic that we can just do all 3 in the same day. Wayne State has a great facility downtown, so it goes well. Hopefully this will be a tradition that we will continue to do so that we can celebrate everybody in the same way, in the same really, really nice place. Not excited about our budget. We are probably looking at another year where we do not have a school budget until after school starts. Things came out from Senate, House, and Governor's office the last few weeks, but it doesn't look great again. So I will probably, hopefully when I come back in September after a few months off, I will be smiling, but I'm guessing I will be ranting a little bit about sort of the challenges that we continue to have. Dawn, who's our finance director, also a Pleasant Ridge resident, does an amazing job coming out with the amount of alternatives that we have to do with different options on both the foundation allowance, but then also different programs and grants that we rely on. So if you've run into somebody, please let them know, how important it is to get a school budget done before the school year. The rest of the budget, unfortunately, probably will take just as long, but it's really hard for all of our teams across. Last year was Teachers Appreciation Week. I think all schools, we had PTOs all came together and did a lot of really great stuff for the teachers. Wish we could celebrate them a lot more, but it's a thing that we really take that week to celebrate all the great staff that we have here at Ferndale. You'll be seeing a lot of construction going on at the high school, working on the renovation of the softball and the baseball fields. New scene shop, building addition, dressing room. I did a quick walkthrough last week. It's pretty good. It's going to look really nice, particularly the performing arts stuff of just like the dressing room, the makeup room, the set area. It's pretty great. And the softball is looking good. I was telling Commissioner Lenko last night that we're trying to get this foundation up and running for new things because the baseball and softball coaches are seeing how nice the turf and the field are. It's all going to be on the infield, and they're like, well, why can't we do the outfield now? So trying to figure out how we can do that. But it's continuing to upgrade facilities. We really appreciate everybody trusting us and sort of making this investment in our kids. And we're really going to start to see it with a lot of these facilities that mean so many to so many kids. Won't talk about the millage. Superintendent Hibbler will be here next month and sort of walk through the millage. One thing I will say that's not in the notes is we're seeing a lot more biking to school, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
We, despite Clausen getting out in the press saying that we have the first bike bus with our elementary. We have parents that dedicate and get kids and bike to lower and upper. We have so much activity going in middle school and the high school. Unfortunately, though, we've been having some safety challenges. There was a bad crash at 9 Mile in Pinecrest where a student got really injured by a driver not paying attention. Lots of different close calls at Geary Park. So it's great that we have all these kids out there and biking, particularly with a lot of our pickup drop-off being challenging at the high school and the middle school. But please, when you're out there, particularly in the morning and the afternoon, we've got kids biking everywhere now, and please watch out for them. And there's no reason to speed through the light or be on your phone, particularly in these areas. So please be. You should be careful driving all the time, but particularly around our schools where we've got our kids on their bikes. So thanks. Any questions?
Giggle Pickles? How did they do?
They did amazing. They got to the next. There's basically they got to the final day, and then there's 10 rounds before the finals. And they got to the next to last round before the last finals. So just amazing. We celebrated all the robotics teams this week, but again, just seeing, how this group has just gotten better, and now they're at the edge of the finals is really, really exciting. So again, appreciate everybody's support for those kids. I think it's going to continue to build a culture of robotics here, and the fact that, we've got kids in the national finals every single year is amazing. Yep.
Yes. And quick one on the foundation. I don't know if you've shared the survey link.
Yes, we shared this. So thank you, Alex. Yeah, so we had a great meeting. Commissioner Lenko, appreciate you coming last night. Shared the survey link with all of you. We'll have a post up this week if you all could share that as well. But can you get the word out? We had a great participation last night, really interest, and we can really see the community going to come together and be able to rebuild this foundation that was such a strong part of this community for so long.
With budget woes and everything like that,
yes,
getting the attention and the generosity of the neighborhood.
Yep, a lot of really great ideas and a lot of people with great experience that are going to but room for everybody.
Great.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you for
all right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate
for what you're doing.
Commissioner Lenko.
Mr. Mayor, Planning Commission and DDA met was it April 27th. Our next meeting will be July 27th in these chambers at 7 o'clock. There was a lot on the plate last time, and evidenced by the rest of our agenda.
Most of it's here.
Right. So as far as the write-up and the summary and the yada yada, Jim's done a great job. Thank you, Jim and Kirsten, putting together the summaries on each ordinance. And so short-term rental regulations, the omnibus regulations, ADU regs, and then Cambridge Woodward is is kind of moving. So at least the site plan was approved. So great stuff. And for the folks here, thanks for joining the AP government. Yeah, it's super cool to see you guys here and taking an interest in local government. Yeah, it's a lot of collaboration and, you know, working with what's on the rules and what needs to take place. But normally planning commission DDA meetings are not sleepers, but there's not usually like 6 things going on. And our city commission packet isn't usually full of planning commission items. So I'm especially proud. So the group did an awesome job. Do you have any questions on any of the particular regs or ordinances?
No, I think we'll get to them.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, I guess in the interest of time, let's tackle them as they're presented on the agenda. But I'd encourage people to come July 27th if you're interested. And yeah, we'll get to the all of our stuff in a minute. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. And last but not least, Historical Commission, Commissioner Schmier.
Thank you, Mayor. The Historical Museum will be open this Saturday, the 16th. It's the 16th this Saturday, right? Yes, the 16th from 10 until 12. So come to, stop by the Historical Museum. As always, check out your folder, bring pictures for the folder. They are also now trying to get, when you come in or at home, writing a letter to future homeowners that can be put into your file so that future people can read it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's a very cool idea. I mean, it's a cool idea too if you go to your folder and in the future find this letter. So also 100-year tiles. If your house is 100, whether it turned 100 this year or in the past, come buy a tile. You can buy one here. You can buy it at the Historical Museum. And I just picked up a box of like 100 new tiles, so we have plenty. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to governmental reports.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Before I get started here, I just want to say that the fair coming up, the June fair in May, I love it. I miss it. I miss the kids. A lot of the officers miss the kids being at Roosevelt. So I have 2 officers scheduled for that night that we do our walk around. Right before or right after I was appointed chief, someone came in the parking lot and they were talking to me and they said, oh, we're so happy that you became chief. I said, oh, thank you very much. And she said, do you remember when you found my lost child? I said, I don't. And she said it would have been the June fair of 2001. So I was a cop that had been a cop for about a week.
Jeez.
And apparently I found her child, and although I don't remember it, it just makes me feel old because that child is now married. So, but our officers will be there. We love being there and seeing the kids and hanging out. So thanks for doing that there again, rather than switching it over to the other school.
Yeah, Eileen's ever moving, so.
Yeah, we appreciate it. On to Pleasant Ridge stuff. So usually I say we're winning the war on crime. If anyone saw Facebook this month, we did have some people that did not lock their car doors, and they got some stuff taken out of their cars. It was not an isolated incident just to Pleasant Ridge. We've checked with all of our law enforcement partners, and it's been happening in a lot of places. We usually tell you as soon as the weather starts to break a little bit, we have this happen. We did have one vehicle that was stolen. Keys were with it. Don't leave your keys in the car. Lieutenant Tyler talked to some more of our law enforcement partners and went and scoured a certain area of the city of Detroit and found her vehicle. So we recovered that vehicle, brought it back to her. She was very, very happy about that. Lock the vehicles.
It's worth mentioning that quite often an insurance company will not consider the car stolen if you left your keys in the car. So it's not only a lost car, but there's no claim.
Yeah.
So something to think about.
Couple other things. Lieutenant Tyler and I went to the Great Lakes Homeland Security Conference, participated in a bunch of different classes there. One of the ones that I was especially interested in was the elder fraud. They had FBI agents going through a bunch of different things, explaining a bunch of things. I don't know if you remember when I talked about pig butchering a couple years ago, not the literal sense. The average loss average loss on pig butchering incident is $150,000 from the person. They just keep taking and taking and taking until there's nothing left. Couple key takeaways that, I mean, it shouldn't have to be said, but I just want to tell you, if anyone asks you to go get anything from a Bitcoin machine, call us. It's a scam. Something's going on. If anyone tells you you need gold bars because the government is moving your money from one place to another, come talk to us. Let us help you with that. The FBI agent said one thing that kind of made me laugh. She said she's been trying to fight against the Bitcoin ATMs. And I don't know that this is an accurate statistic, but she said 98% of it is elder fraud and the other 2% are drug dealers. So stay away from those. If anyone calls you wanting to have you transfer money, just call us. Call us before you do anything. Last thing, with the break in the weather, we've got scooter problems. The electric scooters, you can ride them on the streets. They have the same as responsibilities as a car or a bike. You have to abide by the traffic laws. You need to stay to the side of the road. You can do that. However, if you are on the sidewalks, because there are some places, the police department preferably would like to see you on the sidewalk on Ridge, because Ridge is a little bit crazier now with the construction, but you have to yield to pedestrians at all times on sidewalks. So just a note for everyone, if your kids are out on the sidewalks, make sure that they know they have to move over to the side, let the pedestrians through. But we are seeing some more of those. In fact, Officer Baroki impounded, I believe it was a moped that was going through Gainsborough the other day, driving recklessly. So if you have the kids with the mopeds, the electric bikes, the electric scooters, let them know, drive responsibly, and won't have any problems. So, last thing, just because you post something on Facebook does not mean that you have reported it to the police department. So please, if you have anything that you need the police department to know, if you see someone suspicious, if you're a victim of a crime, whatever it may be, call us directly. Don't post it on Facebook and think that we're going to see it, because we do not patrol Facebook. So other than that, I'm here for any questions you may have.
Any questions?
No questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. I'll wait for the vote.
No, I'm good.
Are we good? Okay. Consent agenda. Just to bring some attention to a couple of the things in our consent agenda this month. We have one for Gun Violence Awareness Day. And then also there's one to celebrate Jewish American Heritage Month. So I would encourage people to just read the packets in those. But I think we'll go ahead and take a vote.
A motion?
Or a motion. Motion before a vote.
Mayor, I move the consent agenda be approved.
Second?
All right. May we have a vote?
Commissioner Schmier,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Commissioner Budnick,
Yes.
Mayor Scott,
Yes? Up to says.
Franco.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
The motion carries. We'll move on to utility rates.
Okay, thank you. Fiscal year 27. These are the proposed utility rates for adoption by resolution tonight. This is the first step in our budget process. All of these things are adopted by resolution of the City Commission. So the proposed rate structure this year is a $53.36 ready-to-serve charge per bill, combined water and sewer usage rate of $95.90, infrastructure charge of 93 cents per front foot, and a garbage pickup fee of $31.23 per bill, and then the stormwater runoff fee of $63.37 per equivalent residential unit. ERUs are a way of apportioning costs based off runoff factors, and 10 years ago we did a study of the city and it created districts. They're very similar. They're assessors districts. So that's how ERUs are assigned to properties. Inputs. The largest inputs in the water rate structure are capital improvements for the water main projects and lead service line replacement. The items in yellow are our major external inputs. Those are outside entities that we pay for stormwater treatment. That's GWK, sewage treatment, which is GLEWA, water wholesale cost is SACWA, and WRC is our maintenance partner for water and sewer maintenance activities. So the percent increases you see, overall, the rate structure will result in about a 3.7% increase for each, for the average water customer in Pleasant Ridge. We are seeing very large percentage increases from our outside entities. So GLEWA had a cap on 4% for 10 years after their creation. That ended. And so now GLEWA is passing along large cost increases. GWK has been in the 5 to 7% cost increase for the past few years. See, water wholesale cost is 10.6%, and that's because SACWA, like the rest of us, has 50 to 70-year-old infrastructure at this point, and their capital improvement program needs more money to maintain the SACWA system. We benefit from SACWA quite a bit, just from combined purchasing power. They have a lot of storage, and they can smooth out demand. They fill their tanks at night and then empty them during the day. So it's an overall benefit, but one of the things that we're contending with right now is a $150,000 tank inspection and painting bill. So they're undergoing a capital improvement program right now, so that's part of the increase we're seeing there. And then WRC maintenance, a lot of this is related directly to the water main projects because we're using WRC more than we normally would when we have them out working to do shutoffs and exercising valves and just supporting our water main projects. So those items in yellow normally account for about 60% of our total water fund cost. So then you add on the capital improvements as well. The items that are not in yellow are locally controlled, and you'll see that we've worked to minimize the cost percentage increases in those items to try to get to that 3.7% overall cost increase. And here, this is how the breakdown. So when you take out the cost of our water main projects, wholesale water and sewer charges are 55% for supplying the water and then treating it when it goes away. Operations and maintenance is another 20%. Services, engineering, utilities, insurance, that's about 12%. GWK debt, that's our share for constructing the GWK facility. Those bonds is about 7% of our costs, and then the staff and it's about 6%. So again, there's that 3.7% increase. This may surprise you, but we're actually below average for our water costs for SACWA communities. This is the SACWA rate survey. You'll see Pleasant Ridge, they translate everything into quarterly bills. There are a number of us that bill monthly or bi-monthly. So they translate everything into a quarterly bill because that is still the most common billing frequency for communities. The average cost for a resident is $706 for a quarter, and we're below that at $691. And that also includes our water infrastructure millage cost, which is above the utility rates. So, you know, believe it or not, we are below average in terms of our cost structure. Water infrastructure funding, largely funded by thirds. The millage funds a third. The ready-to-serve charge funds another third, and then the front foot infrastructure charge funds the final third. Each component raises about $370,000. The water infrastructure project, Oakdale, is done mostly, but there are some cleanup and punch list items that remain. Devonshire is in permitting right now, looking to get that going late summer of this year. And Wellesley design has started. If you live on Wellesley, you may have seen all the flags, the blue flags that are out. We're locating the infrastructure where it is right now, so the engineers can take that into account as they start the design work for Wellesley. That will be next year. We're planning on that project in 2027. So that is the utility rates overview. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, and there is the suggested resolution in your packet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Were there any questions from anyone?
All right. May we have a motion?
Mayor, I move that the resolution regarding the 2026 to 2027 utility rates be adopted.
Second.
Could we have a vote?
Commissioner Schmier,
Yes.
Commissioner Budnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenko,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Scott.
Yes, the motion carries. And we'll move on to budget.
Yes, thank you.
I will say just a little shout out to our fellow neighboring mayor, Raylon Leaks Bay, who's having her State of the City address this evening. We tend to, at least I tend to look at the budget as a state of the city. You can tell a lot about a city by how it manages its money and how it spends money and things. And I'm exceedingly happy with where the city is at, what our standings are and everything. And of course, happy to answer any questions at any time on how we manage the city. It's we're in a pretty good spot. As Jim will elaborate.
Yes. Happy to do so.
Thank you.
The fiscal year 27 annual budget is being introduced tonight. The request is to schedule the public hearing for June 9th. We will get that notice in the paper once you move to schedule it. The budget is available for review right now on the website. Action will be taken on the budget in June, and it becomes effective July 1 of this year. The budget is available at this link, cityofpleasantridge.org/budget. Millage rates. The 2025 millage rate was for the city, part of the homeowners overall millage, was 21.3235. This year, it's proposed at 21.0324 mils. So there will be a small 1.4% reduction in our local millage rate. You can see how that's evolved over time. This year, our rollback factor is 0.9883 from properties becoming uncapped. Our property tax revenue growth is 3.2%. Our taxable value growth was 4.65%. So as that millage is rolled back, homeowners who have lived here see their property tax payments increase at a rate lower than inflation because of the pop-ups under Prop A. Our overall reduction this year is 0.2911 mils, and you can see now that we're actually on an absolute term below where the millage rate was in 2021 when before the water infrastructure millage was passed. So that 1.7 mil water infrastructure millage came online in 2022, and just through the dropping off and reduction of the parks improvement millage and then rolling back and reducing other millages, you can see the pool debt millage continues to go down faster than inflation. So our millage rate is now lower than it was when we approved the water infrastructure millage. Quick overview of revenues. You can see how that millage rate has evolved over time, going back to the mid-'80s. Stays fairly consistent, kind of hovering around that 20 level. I noted that our local millage rate is about 21 mils, and less than half of every property tax dollar paid comes to us. The remainder goes to other taxing entities. Ferndale School District is the second largest. And then you have the county operating and intermediate school districts, community college, transportation, and then other is the zoo, the Art Institute, county parks, some of those other smaller levies. When you look at us in context, our local millage rate is kind of middle of the pack in terms of absolute terms. When you look at median household income, we're at the higher level. So there's kind of a cluster of communities that are different than the rest. Property tax revenue per capita, as you would expect, is consistent with that. Total revenue per capita, again, consistent with that. This has increased as we've brought the water infrastructure project online. It's a necessary project, but it's required us to increase some of our revenues. Property tax revenue per capita by millage rate. What this shows is that Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham, Orchard Lake, Pleasant Ridge, Huntington Woods, who kind of, we occupy that same demographic profile, and we tend to generate roughly the same amount of property tax revenue per capita with very different millage rates that get you to that bottom line dollar. And what that points to is just that there's a cost to run a city that is pretty consistent. You just have to generate the revenues to run a city, and everything adjusts to get you to that level. These are generally higher service providing communities. Household revenue per household is a percentage of median household income. This is just a question of, is it affordable? And you see that most communities cluster. We're right in the middle of the pack in terms of affordability. About 6% of median household income is revenue to the city, what we take in revenue. So again, we're consistent there. When you look at general fund revenue by source, adjusted for inflation over time, the thing that really stands out is over time, we've had to rely more on property tax revenue to support ourselves. And you see the orange line, the orange kind of blob was state shared revenue, which continues to decline quite a bit. And so the other lines are fairly consistent, and charges for services have increased greatly in the middle and then reduced over time as well. You can see that that's kind of a consistent total revenue that we've operated on, right around that $4 million a year for general fund over the course of the last 40 years. This is just normalized to 1 as a percentage basis, and again, it shows the decline of shared revenue, the decline of charges for services, and the increase in taxes and assessments to fund the city as those other things decline. You know, to School Board Member De La Verne's point, the state never increases funding. So in the 80s, we were taking in $800,000 a year of inflation-adjusted shared revenue, and now we're a little bit over $300,000 a year. So, you know, that's a notable difference. Property tax value trend, you can see the compression that occurred in the wake of the Great Recession. As assessed values dropped, taxable values also dropped, and then we've continued to get a pretty consistent pathway since then with both taxable and assessed property values. The taxable property value trend, however, this points out something that during times when property values decrease, the state taxing regime limits revenue growth for local communities when things are growing, but when there's an instance where property values decline, there's no catch-up method. There's no way of regaining or clawing back that revenue. So that I call the Headley gap, because after the Great Recession, communities everywhere had to do Headley overrides. 2012 to 14 really is when that all happened. It happened here to make up for that permanent step down in taxable value on an inflation-adjusted basis over time. So it's inevitable. It's a staircase down in terms of taxable values. It's going to happen again at some point. And again, after that, after the Great Recession, it took 10 years to even get back to inflation-adjusted taxable values. So that was just the scope of that event. Expenses, what are we spending our money on? Total expenditures per capita, again, just like revenues, we're up there. Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, Huntington Woods, us, Royal Oak are at the higher end for expenditures per capita. But again, expenses per household as a percentage of median household income, we're again at that lower end of, so is the question of, is the community affordable? Yes, we are for the people who live here. Police expenditures per capita is higher. We spend more, but you see that this is really driven by a small community. Lathrop Village is right up there as well. It's like flying an airplane. You have to have wings and a pilot and a co-pilot, and it just costs money to have that basic structure to have a city and a police force in a small town. And when you look at number of officers per capita, we have a higher number here because you have to have 6 to 7 full-time guys to run a 24/7 police department. So we just have more officers per capita as a necessity. When you look at total public safety expenditures per capita, this accounts for fire and police. On a total basis, we're very normal in terms of expenditures per capita. Where do we spend our money? Well, we have a pool, and it's a hole in the ground we throw money into. Huntington Woods as well. So that's the big story in terms of why are our expenditures higher than some other communities? We have a pool. And it's great, but we have a pool.
And we want it.
Yes. Water and sewer expenses per capita, our water infrastructure project is starting to really come in line, onto line, and those expenditures are flowing through into the budget now. So we are on the higher end of water and sewer expenses per capita at this point. This does account for those infrastructure projects inflating our water and sewer budget. But still, we're not outrageous by any means. When we have to rebuild our entire water system on the fly, that's a big undertaking. This is a good news story here, but our pension funded level continues to increase. We're over 70% now. You can see the trajectory that we were on, and in 2017, the voters did approve a police pension stabilization millage. All of that money has gone into excess contributions into the pension fund, and you can see where it took a couple years for it to really turn around. Part of that was some of the returns before COVID, but as that millage phased in over time. So it was a 1.4 mil approved, but it phased in at 0.35 mils per year over 4 years. So when that funding really started to fully come in online in 2021, you can see our police pension funding level is dramatically increasing. So I am hopeful we're on track to solve this unfunded pension problem by the time that police pension millage ends around 2031 or 2, which isn't that far away now. So that's the overview, the high-level overview of the budget. Largely, it's status quo. We continue to fund water infrastructure projects and do all the things we're doing around town. Nothing new or major planned in terms of changes or patterns in spending, consistent from year to year. The one thing I didn't hit on in the presentation was city commission policy is to maintain a 70 to 80% general fund balance, which we did achieve a couple years ago, and now we're hovering in that area. Higher than most communities, but again, that's a small community number. A smaller community, one thing can have a major impact on a budget, whereas a larger community, you can spread things out a little bit more. So we maintain probably a higher fund balance than most do, but it's a reflection of who we are.
And it's for the size of our community, it's actually commendable to be able to get to this, level of savings and fund balances and things, because other small communities just can't or don't. It will also have a public hearing on this in June, assuming that this motion carries.
Are you looking at me because
Oh,
I make all of the motions? No. I was thinking I'm going to make.
No, I wanted to have a comment.
Sure,
too.
yes, please.
Because there is one of the really nice things with this budget is the narrative that the city manager writes up front. So it makes it it's a very digestible document, and it helps sort of understand the history of where we've been as well as where we're going, and talks about the 3-year funding and all of or budgeting that it helps it all really make sense in a way that sometimes just looking at the numbers doesn't. So have fun reading it. It's not that long even, and I don't know. It's a really
It's
good
true.
one.
If as someone that has read other cities' budgets, which sounds very boring, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
I can say that our budget is actually digestible, so I have no problem at all sitting down with somebody and going through line items in our budget if there's ever a question about where everyone's money's going.
Well, and there are awards for these things, so
Right.
for budget writing. But anyway,
All right.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to add, second to checking my retirement balances, the next thing I check is our Parks and Rec endowment balance. I like to check in with Jim to see what it's at, and it's such a phenomenal thing that the city with former Mayor Castelli, Mayor Scott, and our city manager have done is we've taken money that we received from 696 essentially in the late 80s, and then we have now invested it over the last, let's say, 10 years-ish. And that money has grown from 1.7 million to almost 400 or almost $4 million now, and that also includes the roughly $300,000 worth of improvements we've pumped into the community, being the Four Ridge, the big room. Then we had, was the city chambers part of that? Or just
No.
the pavilion, the two pavilions?
Pavilions.
Yeah, so pretty phenomenal to have those all come out, and we're still
And
over
the-
double
So many parks projects.
the balance.
They're
Yes,
really just.
It's been great.
Yeah.
We've also used it to leverage paying down Gainsborough. It's been a great tool and asset to the city.
Cool, yes.
Just one observation, great job, awesome framing it too in terms of how we compare to the other communities, especially for these young guys. I want to point out how policy kind of shifts and changes from its original, I guess, inspiration or like why it goes into effect. But that state revenue sharing, to put into perspective, 800,000 in the 80s is like $2.4 million in today's dollars. So that's, and what are we getting, like 300K now? So
Roughly.
so we're getting 300K when, if you use the time machine to like when these rules were set up, we should actually be getting like $2 extra million, which is half the budget. So we ask our state reps for this, but to no avail. But anyways, just to kind of pin that as one of those, I don't know, thorns in our side, and I don't know, as you're looking at things like gas taxes or all these other, like, just make sure that the money is going to the thing that it's supposed to do, rather than into the general fund, which gets siphoned into like every direction.
Literally, the buck stops with every city.
Uh-huh.
So you'll see laws that occur on the federal level and the state level. Ultimately, it's a city manager and a city clerk that has to make something happen, and or not happen, and the right, just to make it happen the right way. And so I'm excited that we've been able to sort of manage those moments, good and bad, from the federal and the state level.
Be cool to have an extra $2 million.
Yeah. All right.
Mayor,
Oh.
I'm stealing it, Katie.
I was
sorry.
like, oh, you be.
Mayor, I move the public hearing be established for Tuesday, June 9th, 2026 at 7:30 PM to solicit public comments on the proposed fiscal year 2026 to 2027 millage rates and combined city budgets.
Second?
May we have a vote?
Commissioner Perry?
Yes.
Commissioner Lenko?
Yes.
Commissioner Budnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmier?
Yes.
Mayor Scott?
Yes, the motion carries. All right, on to the fun topics. Although I find budgets fun. Short-term rental zoning.
Yes. Let me get there in my. Okay, thank you. Short-term rentals, and I can pull up the ordinances on the screen if we need to look through them there, but I don't know if we'll need to. Short-term rental, this is not a new topic. We've been discussing it for almost a year now at the City Commission, but we're getting to the pointy end of the stick at this point. The Planning Commission held public hearing on the zoning portion of this 2 ordinance amendment at their April 27 meeting. Recommended approval to the City Commission. These ordinances are being introduced to you tonight to schedule a public hearing for the June 9, 2026 meeting. The 2 ordinances would regulate the operation of short-term rentals within the city. The zoning amendment would allow short-term rentals in the multiple family and commercial districts while allowing the existing short-term rental units which are operating to continue as existing non-conforming uses, subject to them being currently licensed as rental properties with a landlord license. The licensing ordinance establishes short-term rental operation and management requirements. The zoning ordinance, again, allows these only in multifamily and commercial districts, which are largely along Woodward. The licensing and operational standards, just a brief overview. Annual licensing is required. They have to be renewed each year. There's an application process spelled out in the ordinance. Operational requirements include a maximum occupancy of 2 adults per bedroom with a total overnight occupancy cap of 8 people per unit. Quiet hours, 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Prohibitions, explicitly bans fireworks, open burning, recreational fire pits, sublighting, commercial events, yard sales at short-term properties.
The owner or designated agent of the property must be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as a responsible party, must respond to any issue or complaint within an hour. There are some parking standards. RVs, tents, similar vehicles are prohibited. Parking must not block emergency vehicle access, ingress points on the streets, sidewalks, neighboring properties, etc. Required posting, that there has to be a posting in the unit and online in the listing, addressing all of these standards, and then some enforcement standards as well. Transition for existing operators. The zoning ordinance includes a provision for currently operating short-term rentals, which will no longer be which would no longer be allowed to maintain and qualify for non-conforming status. The operator must currently hold a valid landlord license under Chapter 18 and also be able to demonstrate that the property was in use as a short-term rental prior to the enactment date of the zoning ordinance. If they are a qualifying non-conforming operator, they have a 90-day window following the effective date to apply for the short-term rental license. And if they do and obtain the license within that window, they'll be treated as a legal non-conforming use, allowing them to continue operating in their current zoning district, provided that they remain continuously licensed and in compliance with the operational standards of the new Chapter 18 licensing ordinance. Short-term rentals that are currently operating without a valid landlord license do not qualify for non-conforming status, as they were not legal uses prior to a short-term rental ordinance adoption. So that's the overview of the two ordinances. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. One thing I would point out is at the Planning Commission Chairman Galloway pointed out that Dearborn Heights is being sued over their short-term rental ordinance. They enacted a total ban and had no provision for non-conforming uses. They're being sued by somebody who's was operating a short-term rental prior to the ordinance. That's a significant distinction between their ordinance and ours, with our provisions for existing non-conforming uses. City Attorney Need has reviewed that lawsuit, and he's confident that our approach is valid and defensible, and we should be fine with this approach. I couldn't believe they actually tried to do that, because it's just a lawsuit waiting to happen for their approach. So. Okay, any questions? I'd be happy to answer them. Requested action is scheduling the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
It was interesting because at the Planning Commission, the legal nonconforming was one of the big questions that they were asking too, and trying to push back on, and like how it's an interesting pain point on that thing. Now, you had mentioned, you said, and I'm being nitpicky, so forgive me. Like you said something about it's largely along Woodward. Is there something outside of that when you were saying that our zoning that's allowing it right now?
I believe it's all along Woodward.
Okay.
But I don't want to say that
Okay.
without the zoning map in front of me to confirm.
Right.
Okay.
I did look at the zoning map too, and it does appear, as Jim said, both multifamily and commercial appears to only be on Woodward from my interpretation of the colors on the zoning map.
Is there anything that could be built in the future that would fit that, like, you know, what is in, what's the Woodward area that, like how the condos are fitting that?
So any structure, any property that is not already a rental property could not become a short-term rental property, as I understand it. And it would have to be built within the next whatever number of days following the
Well, if it's in the
adoption.
commercial district, it could become a short-term
Right.
rental.
Right.
Oh, in the commercial district.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's important because exclusionary zoning claims are another
Yes.
vector by which our ordinance could be challenged.
So Iron Ridge.
Well, that's not commercial or multiple family.
Oh, you're right. Mm-hmm.
But the
It's not commercial?
no, I think it's workplace.
Okay.
It's like a hybrid
Yeah,
industrial
yeah.
commercial district
Okay.
that allows for a wider range than a normal commercial
Right.
district.
Interesting. There are
But-
2 restaurants going in back there, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which is great.
Yeah.
We kind of blew the doors wide open because it's over
Mhm.
there on the other side of the train tracks.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
But the exclusionary zoning thing is important as well. So the theory is that a short-term rental use is more like a commercial land use than a residential land use because of its nature, so it's appropriate in a commercial district. So that's the legal theory upon which the zoning decision is predicated.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
No, I have no question. I mean, I have no additional questions. I feel really comfortable, and I think we did a really good job of setting guidelines for the existing non-conforming, also limiting the future ones to more appropriate areas. And I'm glad we did it, honestly. I mean, we're seeing in the news more and more cities facing this issue and dealing with it. So I'm glad we got ahead of it and are hopefully almost done with it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thanks to everyone that's come to meetings and discussed the topic. Thanks to the to the Planning Commission for giving us a good start.
Mm-hmm.
I won't look at anyone. I'll just look ahead. Could we have a motion?
All right, Mayor, I move that a public hearing be established for Tuesday, June 9th at 7:30 to solicit public comments on the proposed short-term rental zoning licensing ordinance amendment.
Second.
May we have a vote?
Commissioner Lenko?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmier?
Yes.
Commissioner Budnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Scott?
Yes, the motion carries. All right, on to accessory dwellings.
Yes. One of the things that we heard from the last community master plan effort was that there was quite a bit of support for allowing accessory dwelling units from the community during that process. So the Planning Commission set to work and had a public hearing on the proposed ordinance and that's being presented to you tonight with a request to schedule a public hearing at the June 9, 2026 meeting. The proposed accessory dwelling unit ordinance, it's in their packet, available for review, but a summary of the proposed regulations is that the Planning Commission will be the approving body for the first 10 applications. After 10 applications, the Planning Commission will review the ordinance and approval process, see if there's any necessary changes based on the working experience they gain as the approving body. And then at that time, these could be administratively approved or continued at the Planning Commission or some other process, but we will determine. Oftentimes, ADUs are an administrative approval process, but this is a way of making sure that our standards are working as intended and that the Planning Commission has the ability and process to see these come through. Property owners within 300 feet of the proposed site on the same street, and then property owners within 100 feet of the property not on the same street, so think of neighbors behind, will be mailed notice of the application prior to the Planning Commission meeting where the application will be reviewed so that they are aware of the proposal. Design standards are included in the ordinance, including a 5-foot setback requirement from any property line. The typical is a 3-foot minimum setback for a detached accessory dwelling structure. But if it's an accessory dwelling unit, there has to be a 5-foot setback. 18-foot maximum height measured to the midpoint, requiring that one of the dwelling units, either the main dwelling unit or the accessory dwelling unit, be owner occupied, that no part of any property containing an ADU may be used as a short-term rental, that ADUs have their own dedicated water service and meter, that one dedicated off-street parking space be provided for the accessory dwelling unit, and then there are some design standards for the design of the structure itself that are largely in keeping with our exterior design standards applicable broadly in the community. A restrictive covenant must be filed with the County Register of Deeds describing these requirements for the purpose of making any prospective buyer of the property in the future aware of the restrictions that come along with the accessory dwelling unit on the property. And then there are some enforcement, and if necessary, revocation of ADU approval procedures. So I'd be happy to answer any specific questions you have about the ordinance. And again, the request is to schedule a public hearing for the June 9, 2026 City Commission meeting.
Mayor, I do have one question, just clarification actually. Under enforcement, Section 2A, So that would be page 4 of 5, where it says revoke or modify the ADU approval. If revoked, the improvements added to convert the accessory structure into an accessory dwelling unit shall be removed within 45 days of the city commission decision. And I'm just curious what that means. I mean, we're not tearing down the building, are we? I mean, is it capping? Can you just explain that section, what that looks like?
Sure. So right now, our ordinance states that you can't have a combination of utilities to an accessory building that would allow it to be converted to a habitable dwelling space. So a combination of utilities is functionally electric, water, and sewer.
Okay.
So you can only have 2 of those right now. So removing the improvements that would allow it to be used as accessory dwelling unit, well, that would be cooking facilities and sanitary facilities. So bathrooms, showers, water, sewer. That would be determined by what the property owner wanted to do to take that out. So it would just be removing toilets or capping water service.
So basically
or-
removing, if they had the 3, removing 1, 2, okay.
Right.
Okay.
And part of that is the why we require a separate dedicated water line and meter. The sanitary can tie into the main house sanitary line that runs out because that's less of a concern. But the water service with a shutoff and a meter becomes our enforcement mechanism for some of these things.
Okay. Thank you. I assumed it was something along those lines, but as I was reading it, I was like, are we taking down the building? Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
Which seemed, of course, insane, but thank you for clarifying.
Yes.
Thank you. So the maximum height of a garage or whatever the secondary unit is 18 feet, and that's at the peak?
No, that's at the midpoint.
Oh, that's at the mid.
So our ordinance measures the maximum building height to the midpoint between the eaves and the peak of the roof. Typically, that's how building height for pitched roofs is measured in just about every zoning ordinance everywhere for principal structures.
Okay.
Most ordinances regulate accessory building height to the peak, but we don't and never have. So our accessory building maximum height is 15 feet measured to the midpoint, which allows for taller garages. The 18 feet gives you some extra height because likely, if you still have garage space on the first floor and this is a second floor accessory dwelling unit, you need that extra height to make the habitable space above. So 18 feet is a middle ground. It's doable for a dwelling unit, but it's also not as high as we allow for a principal structure, which is 30 feet to the midpoint.
Okay.
Also, if I'm correct, including a sight line and all of the other things required in our design guidelines.
Yes.
And it's in relation also to the primary structure on the property? Is it, say if it's 18 feet, it can also, is it,
Can it be taller than the home?
can it be taller? Thanks,
Is that your
Brett.
question?
Thanks, Brett, yeah.
There is nothing in here that says that the accessory dwelling unit can't be taller than the principal structure currently.
Is that something we should consider, or, just for, keeping with the character of the community and things like that, like building something? I know there are size limitations and things like that, right? It's like a percentage of the square footage of the
Yes.
principal property.
I don't, my opinion is, I don't know that we need to worry about the accessory dwelling unit being taller than the principal structure because 18 feet is still much shorter than you can build for a principal structure.
I probably own one of the 5 homes in Pleasant Ridge where the garage would be taller than the home.
Yes, there's a very small number.
Yeah.
And I think since I've been here, we've lost half of our
Yeah.
of our ranches. So
Yeah.
And just to clarify, I was at the DDA meeting watching. There could be a 2-level ADU also. In that situation, though, they wouldn't be allowed to have a garage. Is that correct? That you can only have one additional?
you can have one detached accessory building right now. So
Okay.
if you choose to make that a 2-story accessory dwelling unit, then yes, you cannot have another.
So you cannot have a garage and
A third structure.
a third structure.
You could have an attached garage.
Mm-hmm.
If the garage is attached to your house, then fine, and then you get one detached structure.
And that detached structure could have garage space and dwelling space, however you configure it.
Yes.
Yeah. Fitting the square footage of
The 700,
or
the
whatever it
700
is.
square feet.
Whatever it is for your property.
But you were saying, I mean, you could stack it, so it could be 15. It's a 750 footprint.
Yep. Or 35% of the
Yep.
size of your house. Okay.
And it can be a long-term rental. It can't be a short-term rental.
Correct.
And the owner of the property has to be permanently in one of the spaces. And, they're.
And these are
parking
the, and,
space.
and these are all the items that we would require to be in that notice filed at the Register of Deeds.
Okay.
So that we don't get somebody buying the property and then finding out that, expecting to rent both of them out and having to fight that battle after they've bought the property. So that's why we're trying to provide advance notice.
It's interesting, Jim and I have been in conversations with Lansing about affordable and available housing over the last weeks. And this is an example of how Pleasant Ridge might solve that problem, where I'm a person that would probably build an ADU for my mother at much less cost than assisted living. So the cost to build a accessory dwelling unit is probably a year of assisted living cost. So it's a great example of getting the feedback from the community, and it turns out that it's going to solve a problem that the state is seeing too.
Which I noticed they're having public hearings on those bills completely unchanged.
I know.
Yeah. It's nice of them to meet with us, though.
Yes.
And I know the concern with parking that a lot of people talk about, the fact that it is requiring a dedicated spot, I think is also important and obviously a really good add.
It's an interesting, another follow-up. So I'd asked Jim earlier today, so what if I build a 3-bedroom, 3-bath accessory dwelling? And it had to change my thinking about what a dwelling unit is, but might be actually creating 3 dwelling units, which you can't do. You can only create 1 dwelling unit in this structure. So it isn't very likely, in fact, not
The
possible.
square footage.
Yeah, but it's not possible that you can create 3 dwelling units inside the accessory dwelling. It's that the law is not written that way
Right.
because of the way dwelling units are defined.
I was thinking
So the 1
200
parking spot is for the one.
The one
unit.
dwelling.
Exactly.
So is there a requirement for homeowners that the owners also have to have 1 parking spot or anything?
Practically by ordinance, yes, but driveway spaces count. So you can accommodate that. It's doable.
So but it's not specifically saying there have to be at least 2 spaces off the street for a property.
Well, yes, actually, the ordinance is saying that.
It is,
Because the
okay.
parking standards right now require at least 1 off-street space for,
Homeowners?
yeah,
Yeah.
and then this adds the other one dedicated,
Okay.
For
dedicated
single-family
for the
dwellings.
accessory dwelling unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that can be in the garage, if it's if
Right.
there's still a garage and then above, or in the driveway, or next to the garage, or however it makes sense that meets the standards of our ordinance. You can't park in the front yard. So you can't, create a parking space in
Right.
front of the house, and that's not allowed by ordinance, so they still have to meet those standards.
Are there any houses without driveways? I know there are on Kensington, right, specifically?
Yes.
Just Kensington.
So they ultimately would not, unless they could figure out a way to make a driveway or make a garage, then it wouldn't work parking-wise. Correct?
It's gonna be hard for a 40-foot wide lot to
Yeah.
meet these standards.
Yeah.
It's gonna be easier to do on some lots than others, but that's,
I mean, of course it
Anything.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, I guess so this motion is to have a public hearing.
Mayor, I move that a public hearing be established for Tuesday, June 9th, 2026 at 7:30 PM to solicit, to solicit public comment on the proposed accessory dwelling unit zoning ordinance amendments.
Second.
May we have a vote?
Commissioner Schmier,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenko,
Yes.
Commissioner Budnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Scott.
Yes, the motion carries. All right, one more zoning thing.
All right. Occasionally we go through and just do a cleanup of the zoning ordinance and general ordinances to address things that come up. So just as we live our lives at City Hall, dealing with things and find parts of the ordinance that we wish existed or that aren't working for us, we change them. So there's a zoning ordinance amendment, and also some of these are in the general code of ordinances, but we just lumped it together in one omnibus. Clarifying existing standards for driveway approaches and driveway locations, setbacks for vertical structures from sidewalks, stairways for front porches, monument sign height reductions, and stormwater runoff standards. Quickly, the specifics of these are driveway approach and location standards. We've had some increasing requests for circle driveways and driveways that meander through the front yard, inconsistent with our interpretation of existing ordinance standards. So we have some clearer language that I think more straightforwardly states that the driveway has to be on the same half of the property where the garage exists. Setbacks for vertical structures from sidewalks. We have standards that require fences to be at least a foot off of sidewalks, but there's other things. We have a lot of people, well, not a lot, we have some retaining walls that are built right up to the sidewalk. And, you know, when you have kids on bikes or strollers or walking a dog and you have that vertical structure right on the sidewalk, it makes it difficult. There's no shy area to pass. And also, the typical standard is that the property line, that the sidewalk is 1 foot inside of the right-of-way. So technically, the right-of-way usually is a foot in from the sidewalk towards the house. In a place like Pleasant Ridge that's 100 years old, that's not always the case, but that is the standard. So by requiring everything, any vertical structure, retaining walls, anything to be at least a foot off the sidewalk, will ensure that that's on private property, not in the public right-of-way, and also provide for that shy area to help make our sidewalks as comfortable as possible. That would apply to vegetation. We go through and at least once a year try to do a sidewalk overhang inventory, and then tell people to cut your shrubs or your bushes or whatever else is overhanging the sidewalk, and then if they don't, we do it. So we do that currently. This ordinance would also clarify that requirement. Stairways for front porches. We do permit unenclosed front porches to encroach up to 8 feet into the required front yard setback, which is consistent with the historic character of the community, and it's something we want to encourage. The ordinance does lack specific standards for staircases and landings associated with the encroaching porches. Sometimes we've had porches on historic, mostly craftsman-style bungalows that have been enclosed over time. We don't allow that now, but if they were enclosed, then there's no location for a landing, so the landing has to be outside of the structure, and then the stairs begin. So we've had some requests where the stairs essentially start at the sidewalk, and that provides a vertical element in the front yard, start to encroach on those setbacks. So the proposed standards would limit that and limit tread depth to 11 inches to help allow for reasonable stairs that provide access in the sort of minimum amount of space necessary for that. Monument sign height reduction. Currently, monument signs may have a maximum height of 25 feet along Woodward. Very tall. We have some, it is tall.
I mean,
Taller
it's
than an
huge.
accessory dwelling unit.
Yeah.
The proposed amendment would reduce the maximum height of monument signs to 6 feet and a maximum area of 32 square feet. That's maintaining a scale more consistent with the residential and pedestrian-oriented character of the community. Also, it lines up directly with Ferndale's standards for signs along Woodward, so we'll have a consistent set of standards with our neighbor to the south. Stormwater runoff standards. We need some clear standards requiring that all stormwater runoff generated by a property be contained within the property. This may surprise you, but sometimes neighbors don't get along.
What?
I know. And sometimes neighbors point downspout so that all the water shoots onto their neighbor's property. It happens frequently, actually. So the ordinance standard would clearly identify that you have to maintain the stormwater runoff within your property, that you can't do anything that would cause it to run off onto a neighboring property, and then that it can run to the street where the drains are. So I can clarify or expand on any of these ordinances. All of the specific language is in your packet, which is available online for anyone to review. The requested action is, again, to schedule a public hearing for the June 9, 2026 meeting.
Any questions?
Mayor, and I am, full disclosure, redoing my stairs, I think, and my porch. I'm not making it bigger, but because I'm redoing my...
No monument sign.
No 25-foot monument sign. But I'm redoing my stairs and I'm redoing my front walkway, and because of that, I have spent a lot of time walking the dog, looking at other people's stairs. So this 12-inch tread depth, I'm looking for a little bit more clarification on that, because as I walk around, you see a lot of houses also that have incremental stairs almost leading up to the main staircase. So where does that fall, number one, into all of this? I mean, I think some, we see them like the incremental stairs, especially when houses are built a little bit higher up. So I guess number one, how do we deal with that?
Right now, I know what you're talking about. So basically where the pitch of the front yard rises up to the house, and then the stairs kind of, there's a walkway that raises with it.
Yep.
If it's not raising more than 8 inches above the surrounding grade, which is a standard we have elsewhere in the ordinance, it's not considered a staircase at that point. It's
So
just a walkway that is rising to, be equal to the grade surrounding it.
Okay, so under 8 inches doesn't...
Yeah, and by a typical rise for a staircase is 7 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So, and where did the 12-inch tread depth come from? The standard for staircases is 2 times the rise plus the run should equal 24 or 25, because it's based on a human gait and what's comfortable and safe for a person to climb stairs. If you start to increase the tread depth in there, you have to lower the rise because it's farther in between the stairs. So that's part of the issues when people want to do 16-inch treads. Well, now what's happening is you have to lower the rise, and that lengthens the staircase. So now that's what pushes it out towards the sidewalk. And again, if you have that rise that gets too much, you start to turn it into a ladder. So usually your rise is 7 inches, because that's what falls comfortably with a 10.5 to 12-inch run on the stair. So that's what the standard is based around.
My current stairs are 12, and my foot, or my walking shoe, I wear like an 8.5, basically fills the whole space of that 12-inch. I don't know where that math comes from, but there we go. So it fills in, and in redoing my stairs, I've been talking to these people and asking about, what about a little bit more breathing room on those stairs? And maybe not to the 16-inch, but a 13 or a 14-inch. And is there any conversation about taking that 12-inch a little bit? I've also been walking around, and I apologize to anyone who's caught me on their Ring camera, seriously like putting my foot on their stairs to see like where my foot shoe falls in relation to their stairs.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that some of them, although not huge, are a little bit bigger than 12 inches, especially ones that have, brick and then kind of a cap on top of that brick. I don't know what we're calling that, but. So I'm wondering if there's any, and what other people feel about giving a little bit more flexibility to that, and maybe limiting how far something can come away from the house versus, isn't the more concern about getting it too close to the street? So what about, is there any conversation about limiting how far away it can be from your house versus the actual tread of the stairs? Especially if, and for me, again, personally, the reason I wanted to maybe give some more breathing room to the stairs is because my porch isn't huge. And I priced out expanding the size of my porch a little bit widthwise to give myself like a little bit more movement. And that just price-wise made 0 sense. So again, just thoughts because I am in the process of thinking about all these things. But again, limiting how close something goes to the street versus limiting the size of the stairs is a conversation I'd like to understand a little bit more, or hear other people's thoughts on. Now we're in the future, you know.
Well, the good news is that we've got a month,
We have a month.
and ahead of the public hearing, we could all be seen on Ring cameras.
Yeah, well, I mean, seriously, I do put my foot.
Send us photos. You have your examples of-
They're
I
from the coffee
have
table.
photos.
Yeah, they're from
I
the
do
porch in
serious-
Pleasant Ridge.
I do have photos.
Yeah.
And some people do have, I mean, again, people's stairs are different throughout the city. And
I think it was helpful for me to hear Jim's logic on the 24-inch total.
Yeah.
Ergonomics.
yeah,
And what is, considered to be a standard, although we could deviate from that. So that's helpful, but I'll have to think about it some more, to be
of
honest.
course, of course. And as you're walking around, I mean, take a look because, again, it's top of mind for me, which is, I think, why my stairs hopefully will be done in sooner rather than later, knock on wood. Hopefully we can come out and start.
Okay. I see a thought.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Okay.
Do you, so I'm clear. Do you want alternate language that would maybe allow for larger tread depth?
I don't know, because I have not thought about it that deeply.
Yeah.
Meaning, it feels, what you have specified feels normal to me, so I don't know that an alternate would help at this moment. And I don't know that they would change what would go into the public hearing. I guess that's kind of the question. Or is that your question or no?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as I think about it, if you have a large enough setback, I guess the key thing is as long as the stairs aren't getting ridiculously close to the, defined to ridiculously close, I don't know, but to the sidewalk, there's probably room on some properties to allow for a deeper tread, for a 14-inch tread, say. As long as you're not, getting too close to the sidewalk.
Because the goal is to not get too close to the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's really the goal. Because some of these staircases, people, with the side and the caps, and they get massive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to measure your shoe.
My Monty walking shoe.
If we kept it at, there could be a variance, right? I mean, if somebody had a giant
What
property
I'm
and wanted.
thinking is if as long as all parts of the staircase are, for instance, if all parts of the staircase are set back at least 20 feet from the sidewalk, I don't know if 20 feet's the number, I have to figure that out, then we don't care. Build it how you want it. If the staircase is going to be or has to be less than 20 feet from the sidewalk, then it can have a maximum tread depth of 12 inches to just basically minimize. So the stairs become the minimum reasonable, size, because you have less space to
Right.
work with, and you just have to work with that.
And we're focusing on that one problem and not
Right.
the whole.
Right. So
Yeah.
as long as there's enough space, then okay, then
And
have a
that makes sense
16-inch
to me.
tread depth if you want to.
Would
But
that bleed into the Bigfoot rules? I guess would, on a smaller property, having a large staircase, would that potentially trigger a Bigfoot where, you have to have 85%, I think?
no.
So,
No, it wouldn't trigger it that way. It's really just minimizing how close that smaller property staircase gets to the sidewalk when we run into that issue. And again, another variable in the equation is how tall is the front porch. Because sometimes the front porch is 3 feet tall. Well, sometimes it's 5 feet tall. So that changes
How
the
many
run.
runs you need, or the run.
As well. So if you have a tall porch and a small setback, then you're gonna have to do 12-inch, just do 12-inch treads and make it the minimum as compact as possible. But if it's a 3-foot tall porch and you have 40
Yeah.
feet, then, knock yourself out.
Do you know how far it is from the sidewalk to your stairs right now? To like
I haven't measured it, but I do know that, I mean, you've all seen, I mean, it's not tight. I don't think going 14, for me personally, I don't think it pushes it too close, whatever that close
It just
is.
kind of sweeps, doesn't it, to the driveway?
Mm-mm. It's just up and down.
Would you like to give this some thought?
Well, I think that's the approach I'd take, would be the minimum setback, and then if you can't meet that, then you will allow you to do 12-inch tread staircase, minimum necessary.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
that does.
And then the only thing I need to do is just
Pick the number.
go get a measuring wheel and walk around town and base it off of what exists right now, so that we're not not allowing kind of expansion beyond the character that we have that exists. So I'll figure out what that number is and put something in there, if you're comfortable with that approach.
I'm comfortable. Do we
comfortable
need to
with
say
that.
that here or no, just for the public hearing?
Yeah, I'll just amend it.
Okay.
Does it need to go back to planning commission?
No.
Okay,
The intent and the concept is still the same.
gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor.
I am staring at you.
I know.
Sorry.
Mayor, Mayor, I move that a public hearing be established for Tuesday, June 9th, 2026 at 7:30 PM to solicit public comment on the proposed general zoning ordinance amendments.
Second.
May we have a vote?
Commissioner Schmier,
Yes.
Commissioner Budnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Lenko,
Yes.
Commissioner Perry,
yes.
Mayor Scott.
Yes, the motion carries. On to item 13, which is a Granicus.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay,
Yeah,
Granicus.
It's still within zoning, sort of.
kind of, yeah. We didn't quite escape it.
Nope.
Granicus, we're, I guess, fighting fire with fire on short-term rentals here. Short-term rentals are advertised on online platforms. I don't know what percentage of short-term rentals are rented through an online platform, but it's probably over 99%. One of the challenges with regulating short-term rentals is the fact that they are short-term rentals and that their advertisement can come and go. It's not always there. And for a staff of 3 people at City Hall, it's difficult for us to, as we adopt short-term rental standards, difficult for us to stay ahead of and actually monitor short-term rental advertisements and who's doing that, particularly when we're prohibiting the use in single-family residential districts. Granicus offers a short-term rental monitoring and compliance service. I've had a number of meetings with them, seen the service. They continuously crawl all of 60-plus short-term rental listing sites, but Airbnb, Vrbo, HomeAway, the main ones, of course, and then all the other ones you've never heard of. Their address identification pings and locates all of the places that are being listed, that have been listed since 2010 as short-term rentals. So this will be essential to us as we enforce and monitor this. They also have a 24/7 complaint hotline and compliance outreach services as well, which I'm recommending we implement. The 24/7 hotline, they create an online platform where residents in the city can call or send a note through the online portal to Granicus, and then as part of the licensing ordinance where you have the responsible party, we will have that information. Granicus will have that information. They'll reach out to that responsible party. So if this happens at 10:30, that a complaint comes through, we don't have to have somebody present to act on that. Granicus has their back end that's handling this for all their clients. They'll reach out to the responsible party to get that complaint addressed. The excuse me, compliance outreach service is related to that, where they will respond to those complaints. If we identify a non-permitted or illegal short-term rental, excuse me, we click on the button and they send the letter that we've adopted. So it just takes a lot of the administrative back end off of our plate. So that'll ease and improve our ability to enforce the ordinance. The annual cost for these services will be about $6,000. We'll make up through, we'll make up for that cost through short-term rental licensing fees. So that'll be part of the cost equation for having a short-term rental license in the city. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on this. I'm asking you to approve this now before the ordinances are approved, because there is lead time and spool up time involved with getting ourselves set up with Granicus, and I want to make sure that we have this operational as close to our ordinances coming online as possible. Happy to answer any questions if I'm able.
I had the pleasure of walking through the Granicus tool set maybe 2 months ago, and it's very capable. And it's sort of like Jim's analogy of what it takes to have a police department. It's probably more than the average city will need, but this is the minimum that you can buy. So we're not like a lake community with 80 or 90 short-term rentals and tracking lots of things, but we need this to know when they pop up and that they pop up.
Yes.
So
The good news is their fee schedule is also related to how many
Yes.
you have.
Yes.
So we're actually at the low end of
The low
their
end.
fee structure.
right, and I imagine other communities will pick up on this and start using it because of its capability and its ease of use.
And I thought the compliance outreach, I spent some time on the Summit, Colorado link, and I thought it was a good look, I kind of went through all of it, and it also provided the data too of what they were collecting, which I thought was also really interesting, so you can see where the problems, if there are problems. But I thought, yeah, that page and that system looked good.
It was simple,
Yeah.
easy to use.
And I couldn't figure out, like, it felt like you didn't realize it was a third party either when you were on the site, which I thought was also good. I mean, it was well integrated into their city website or city look, so.
All right, may we have a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the agreement for Granicus Address Identification 24/7 hotline and compliance outreach services at an annual cost not to exceed $6,000.
Second.
May we have a vote?
Commissioner Lenko?
Yep.
Commissioner Budnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Perry?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmier?
Yes.
Mayor Scott?
Yes, the motion carries. Wow, we made it to the city manager report.
Street sweeping, one of the things that was in the consent agenda is a agreement with the city of Ferndale to take up our street sweeping. So this will be good. They should be coming out this week or next for their first run through the city to sweep. And then that should put them on target for one in early June. And then we are looking to maintain our fourth Wednesday and Thursday schedule that's on the signs that we have around town right now that have been there for a few years that nobody knows are there. But yes, so this will take our aging and increasingly unreliable boat anchor of a street sweeper out of service. We'll still keep it. I think we can get it useful for spot duty, but it's getting to the point where we can't make it through the entire city on a sweeping cycle for 2 straight days without something going wrong with it. So, it doesn't really have much value. So again, we'll keep it, we'll maintain it to do here and there, but I'm looking forward to not having that. Will it make it every month?
So
What kind of fluid is that?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So they'll just be going out as sort of a test run in the next.
No,
week or
they're gonna sweep the whole city.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it's a test run as their first one, but they're doing a full.
So you can give us a heads up, and we'll try and get the word out on days so
Yes.
people can move cars.
And again, we are now contracting with Ferndale, so they are going to be fitting us into their schedule. So I can't promise that we're going to have tons of notice, but that's again why they're trying to get back to our fourth Wednesday, Thursday schedule for some regularity. But as we kind of catch up on our spring sweeping,
Okay,
I'll try to let you know if I can.
great.
Wellesley, we've begun the water main design work. You may notice if you live on Wellesley, which some do, that there have been some blue flags marking stop box locations. The engineers are picking that data up for the design plans. Please leave the flags out for a couple weeks, and I'll let you know if we finish beforehand. But that's all part of the design work. And any questions on anything else happening?
I have a question on the flags. With everybody mowing and everything, I think a lot of flags are getting displaced. Is there anything we want to do, like like, do you have spray paint we could put on, like, so people could go spray paint their little flag dots and then mow, or?
I don't know, let
to
me,
replace?
I'll check with the engineers to see if they got what they need.
Okay.
And, because if we have to go back and remark, or, I
Right.
don't know. Don't know the answer to that.
Because I see flags.
Yeah. On Wellesley, I know that they posted the flag in the place which I now believe is the stop box of everyone's house, but they also actually spray painted the, I don't know if it was the same on Devonshire, but they spray painted the curb too. So I'm assuming it's double confirmation. So
We have lots of colors of flags.
you do have a lot of colors.
So.
You're
Be
you're
multiple
further
colors of
along.
spray paint, which would be
Right,
all kinds
yellow
of
is
fun.
gas, red is electrical, blue is water.
What's green?
I don't know what green is.
Oh.
What's green?
Gas? Did you already say gas?
We said gas. It's grass.
I don't know.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you want us to spray, if you want to give me some spray paint, be fun.
I think for liability reasons,
Let them do their own.
we'll let the officially sanctioned marking people
Okay,
do
fine.
that.
Fine.
But I
That's
appre- I-
actually, that's a good idea, because it really means something.
Right, I appreciate the enthusiasm.
And by the way, Anne would be doing it at like 2 a.m, and your ring definitely would be going off, and you would see Anne out there with a can.
And you measuring their
police.
steps.
And I will be there with you, yes, measuring their steps, but basically it would be really creepy.
We've had a couple of black leotards projects. This is one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Green means sewer, according to the Miss Dig website.
Ah, thank you.
Okay.
See, very important one. That's a,
I want to say thanks to Jake and
Yes.
the crew. This was a long one.
This was a
Way to
long
hang
one.
in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank
thought-
you.
it was
Any words
jam-packed
before we
with
leave?
good
We're on
stuff.
to other business. Is there any words that you have for anything you'd like to? Okay. Okay.
I want to go home.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. All right. Any other business?
I wanted to mention Ferndale Pride is actually, it's also like the June Fair. It's also in June. It's going to be May 30th, Saturday, May 30th. I think it starts at 1 p.m. officially in Ferndale, which is always a very joyful event with lots of different activities and awareness and everything, which is really great. It's nice that it's right in our backyard.
I'll mention that we've got, I may have mentioned this last month, I'm not sure, 2 more EV chargers have gone in. They're level 2. They look weird because they're hanging on a pole and then they come down to meet your car. So I've been testing it out over the last month and it works pretty well. You won't even know that they're there, which is a problem because during the day the spots are often occupied by internal combustion engine cars, which I can't call ICE anymore.
Right.
So, but if you have an EV and probably more convenient for the folks on the east side of town than the west side of town, but if you have an EV, you're just looking for another place to charge your car, even for the folks on the west side of town, just park it there, let it charge up for a few hours and then come back. I'm working with them on idle time rates because that's a bit of a challenge if you're not in the building. I've been dinged a couple of times because it can take 10 minutes to walk back to the car and then they hit you for extra cents per minute when it's just sitting there. But it does work. It's pretty cool. And the company's name is VoltPost. They're getting more chargers installed in Michigan. I'm introducing them to some other cities because it seems to work. So
To that point, I've actually been walking by it and noticing a lot of the bad cars, whatever you call them, parked in those spots. I actually have not looked at the signage, but are we working on?
yes, they are intending to have their contractor paint the typical EV signs on the spot so that that should reduce the amount of people using them incorrectly. But those are prime spots, so occasionally they might be taken.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I did notice that a couple days ago.
And they were supposed to do signs in addition to the painting as well.
That's their plan. At least that was my conversation with them last week.
Yeah.
It's just taking them time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else? All right, we're ready to adjourn.
Move we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
We're done. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
They don't-